All right, everybody. I think it's just about time to get started. Thanks again for joining us. If you're just coming in now, if you haven't missed anything, and we're just about to get going. I'm Boris from Creatus, head of business development partnerships with Traject. Have here with us also Anthony, our sales team lead for Grade.us. Say hello, Anthony.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you making time this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you're located.
Like I am out in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the purpose of this webinar today to share a few really cool things that we've personally seen in our local areas. Anthony out in Seattle, me here locally in New Jersey, with a few local businesses that have really kind of shaken things up a bit and tried to, go with the flow of the current times. Now, a lot of what we're going to say might not apply to you directly or isn't a perfect example or correlation, obviously, with 50 different states implementing 50 different kind of corona things, it's going to be a bit different for you or for your clients. But the goal here is to just share some cool ideas of what we've seen real businesses actually do, share some ideas of how you can do it either yourselves without any other kind of software. Our goal here is to kind of help more than kind of promote our brands. And we will show you how to implement it with software. We'll be using our own because it's what we know best, but we also have a few suggestions for other tools that you might want to use as well. Again, we want to make sure that you or your clients can do these things as well as possible for your personal goals and benefits, and we want you to feel comfortable too. So without any ado, let's kind of get up and rolling. So what's our goal here for today? We're going to look over 3 different examples of some pivots that people made in the recent times with everything going on relative to their environments and situations. The first is a local restaurant in Seattle, where Anthony and Traject is based out of, that switched from a real fine dining establishment to an eat-in and drive-through pickup delivery service, which is real different for them, but it's what they have to do, and they did it well. And they use a lot of social tools to do so. The second aspect is goods for good, being able to offer free, discounted, incentivized products or services to people in need during the crisis, and this can be done in partnership with other people, other organizations, or even just yourself. So a local pizzeria where I'm from did a really good job with this, and I just wanted to highlight what they did, and again show how you or anyone else can do something similar and how to implement it through social tools and marketing tools. And then the last bit is just a bit of a change of approach with everything going on. Obviously, want to cut costs, want to be laser focused and things. So being able to laser focus your online advertising, CPCs, cost per clicks, Google ads, Facebook ads, etc., by really fine tuning your SEO rankings. So understanding your SEO rankings first, and then implementing campaigns second. So Anthony, if you would take us away on this first
Yeah.
part here.
So, like Boris said, the example I'm going to be going over today is the kind of fine dining example that we had up here in Seattle. So, for anybody that's up here in Seattle, you might be familiar with Canlis, even if you hadn't been able to make a trip yourself. It is one of our more exclusive restaurants up here. Full disclosure, I also have never been before the pandemic. It's a kind of a black tie only, jacket required type restaurant. You're typically spending $1,000 plus for 2 people, so it's a very, very special occasion type of place. And obviously, their doors had to close. So Seattle was one of the first, at least in the U.S., regions that was hit. So they've been closed for quite a while, and their business model has been consistently adjusting. So one of the first things they did was way back almost a month ago now, they transitioned from that fine dining establishment to basically having 3 different segmentations of their business. They did a morning coffee and donut or coffee and bagel pickup. They had a lunchtime drive-through, and then they had a dinner time delivery service. And as you can imagine, that's had to evolve a little bit. Being a very popular restaurant that's offering much more affordable food, they were super busy, so they've had some local ordinance put in place. They've had to take the drive-through out and make it a walk-up only type establishment, and all of that needs to be communicated, right? So the reason I'm telling you all of this is because they had to get the word out. There had to be ways of letting people know that they can now pick up food, that they can now have, you know, a couple days worth of groceries delivered to their door from Canlis. So how did they do that? What were the tools? What really allowed them to quickly and efficiently shift their business model? And a lot of that comes down to logistics. So really, you know, it takes creative thinking. You know, I'm not saying Facebook or you know, Traject Social really came up with this idea and provided this to Canlis. They already had the ability to do this. They had, you know, smart minds, smart marketers on their side, and they had the logistics figured out. They just needed the tools then to enable them to actually execute. So when I say logistics, what am I talking about? The first thing that you need to take care of is your NAP information. And when I say NAP, I mean name, address, and phone number. And the reason that's so important is if it's not updated right now, and now the only way people can find you online, if they're calling a phone number to place an online order, right, like that's not going to go through. If they're if they see on Facebook, right, like if you do post on Facebook that you're now doing a takeout or a drive-through service and your address is wrong, you're going to have people flocking to the wrong address, right? So all this information is hyper important. So before you really start getting the word out, you need to make sure that you have this kind of covered. Full disclosure, we don't necessarily in this presentation or in the Traject suite have anything that's going to be able to take care of this NAP information for you, but we do have partners like our partner with Yext. There's also other services like Moz and Bright Local that'll be able to help facilitate, especially if you're doing this at scale for your clients, and make sure that all of this information is up to date for them. But what we do have the ability to help you with is social media. So again, there's other solutions out there that are not Traject Social. There's Hootsuite, there's Buffer, there's, you know, dozens of social media platforms. But what you're going to be doing with these platforms is essentially creating a presence on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. And if you don't already have a presence there, that's going to be your first step, is creating these platforms. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to bring over, just as an example, again, what I'm going to be showing here will be able to be done with other tools as well. I'm just using Traject Social as the example. So really, there's kind of three things I want to highlight with social media platforms that we help you facilitate. The first one is posting. So, you know, when the governor sets an order that says your business has to shut down, you need to get that word out right away. So how do you post? The other one is scheduling. So now you know that your business is going to be closed for the foreseeable future. That might have impacts on what you can do day to day, right? So I'm using the restaurant example. This could be different for different industries, but in the restaurant world, right? Maybe on Sundays you do a brunch special because that's what you have the ability to do. During the week you do burger takeouts, and on Saturdays you have a dinner special. If that's kind of what you're able to do, you're going to want to have content on those days saying what's on the menu. So being able to schedule that out is also hyper important. And then finally, engaging, right? When someone's commenting on that post saying that we're now open for business, who's commenting back? Who's saying thank you? Who's, you know, how are you getting that information, right? So that's all what these tools are going to help you facilitate. And just to give you an example of some of these, so the first one I talked about was posting. So scheduling a post, especially with a social media management tool, is really straightforward. It can be as simple as clicking a schedule a post option, doing something like dinner is served, and then you can simply attach your media. And most platforms will allow you to do this. They'll either have a free media library or you'll be able to upload your own. And then from here, you can post this instantly and get that word out, or you can add it to your queue. And again, you can schedule that content to go out, you know, at a later date when it's more relevant. And that scheduling is what I wanted to highlight next. So again, these calendars are going to be your best friend as far as engaging with the social media for your clients. So, you know, you're going to be able to see what you posted in the past, but especially now while things are moving forward, you want to make sure that you're not having to post every day for them, right? You want to have this scheduled out You want to have this taken care of beforehand, and being able to see in the future what you have scheduled out. Even right now for the Traject Social brand, we have it scheduled out for a few days, but depending on your clients, you might be able to schedule this out a week. And what that allows you to do is get onto other tasks to help them, right? Maybe get back to managing their reviews, managing the engagement that I'm about to go over. So really leveraging the ability to schedule and see into the future is a huge advantage of using social media management platforms. And then finally, the big thing I want to highlight here also is your engagement. So people are going to be mentioning you on Twitter. They're going to be DMing you on different platforms. They're going to be liking posts. You need a place that kind of keeps that all in line, right? Otherwise, you're going to be spending all of your time on all of these platforms, checking, double checking, refreshing pages. So what we able to allow you to do with this inbox is really funnel all of that information and also engage with it right here from a centralized location. So now instead of having to have 5 different profiles or 100 different profiles if you're managing a franchise pulled up, all of that engagement can happen right here, right from our dashboard. Yeah, and just to emphasize again, it can be filtered. So if you're just interested in like messages or different levels of engagement across your channels, that all is possible to get a more narrow view. So that's how social media can help you. That's a big thing, just to emphasize how social media, once you have the logistics taken care of, lets you get the word out and make sure people are continuing to patronize your client's business. But what happens after those clients have come? How do you capitalize on that? And that will be through review collection. So many of you are familiar with Grade Us. So we already know the importance of reviews. I would say right now reviews are more important than ever. People, like you've probably seen this a few different places, but really people are online more than ever. Now, if they're going to be doing business with your clients, 9 times out of 10, they have to do that business online. So they're looking for reviews, right? They're looking to see, was that cheeseburger good? Was the delivery or the takeout service seamless, right? And that's all information that you can get from the reviews. Traditionally, reviews are also that channel for information, but it's less specific, right? You know, generally you want to just know if the place is well managed, or if it's clean, and you can kind of get that information from a couple of reviews. But right now you're looking for specific pandemic information, and that is of course going to be in those most recent reviews. So being sure that your clients are continuing to collect those is again more important than ever. But what's happened is the way that they've collecting them has kind of gone out the window, right? A lot of them have integrated solutions with like POS machines, or they're asking their clients when they come into the store, and they're taking their information down manually, and that's just not possible. So what we need to do is actually shift our strategy, so that we're continuing to nurture these reviews and these feedback campaigns as much as possible. So what I want to highlight here with Grade Us really is the first thing, our landing page. As you know, our landing page is a nice simple segmentation tool by default, allowing you to get this feedback. But right now, if your client is more concerned with direct feedback versus the reviews, we do also have the review first option. And what this enables your clients to do is, protect their reputation a little bit more. So if they really just want to know how they're doing, they can set up this review first feedback, and they will get that email directly sent to them instead of having any content posted on their third-party review sites. The other thing I wanted to highlight is just now how do we get those words out that now that the traditional systems have kind of been dismantled. So for those of you that are using textable links, so if you're using our text message campaigns, one thing I've been recommending to our clients is creating text back call to actions. So on the receipts that you're sending out, or on maybe the posters you have put up on the front window of the establishments, you can have some call to actions such as text us to 206-555-555, the word feedback, and you can have an auto response sent back, including the link to your client's review funnel. So where the clients traditionally may have been uploaded manually, or they may have been asked to leave a review when they were face-to-face with the customer, Now what you can do is ask those customers to text you when they're seeing that call to action. Whether they're coming into business or they're seeing that on your website, things like that. The other thing that we really have been highlighting and seeing a lot of really good people get a lot of really good use out of is our QR code and email signature snippets. So the QR code is really effective because you're going to be handing out printed materials with your online orders, business cards, depending on your client's material. So now you're going to be able to have a call to action printed right there. But the email signature, I think, is probably the most effective one right now, because what it allows you to do is every time someone does an online order, anytime someone engages with you via email or via an automated email, you're going to have this request sent out. So if you don't already have this email signature added, again, I think now is more important than ever to make sure that your clients are asking for reviews wherever possible. And then the final thing I wanted to highlight as far as reviews importance goes is their social proof. So many of you that use the Grade Us platform are aware that we can share these reviews to your clients' Facebook and Twitter pages. But again, just tying it back to the Traject Social demonstration I did just a minute ago, these reviews can be added to that content and supplement those changes in business that you're doing. So while you're saying in one breath that now we're doing takeout or now we're doing something differently, you can come behind that breath with a review that's showing that review is still doing a decent job. Awesome. And I think as far as the reviews and social media goes, Boris, that is mostly what I had for you. So I think there's going to be a call to action at the end of this, but if anyone has any questions on Traject Social or review management and social media management strategies in general right now, I do encourage you to reach out to either Boris or myself. We'll be including our emails at the end of this presentation.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Yeah, and again, the goal here is to give you ideas of how to, do these solutions and how to implement these things. Canalys isn't a client of ours. They just did something we thought was really cool and something that you could replicate in order to benefit your business or your client's business. And again, this doesn't have to be done on a one basis. It can be done your own way. But these are just kind of the roadmap to successfully rolling out, the changes that you might need to make for your business. And again, all of these things, software makes it a lot easier. If you're in a really tight spot, understandably, given the situation globally, especially in the US, all of these things can be done individually, right? You can post individually to Facebook and individually to Twitter and individually to Instagram. It'll definitely take a lot more time, but the benefits of posting to multiple different areas are really considerable, because there's different people that use different social media platforms that'll be able to see your content more, share your content in different ways, and ultimately get the word out more. So however you do it, just make sure that you do. Yeah, so the next example that I'd love to kind of show you is my local pizzeria. I actually love this place, go there often. And I just saw them post this and I thought this is an absolutely incredible idea. So what they did is, goods for good, right? So they just started offering to match anyone that gives a donation to EMS workers, because there's actually 2 or 3 different hospitals within like a 5 to 10 mile radius of where they are, large kind of hospitals that service most of our area in central New Jersey. And this is just a great opportunity to give back to those people, working 7 days a week to help, to help save people's lives and give them a little bit of respite by giving them some warm food, warm fresh food. So far, it seems to have been going well. They got a personalized message from the president of the hospital. People have been popularizing it. And again, what they've been doing is using simple social media. I know that I don't think they use a system. They're just doing it manually, taking a lot of time to. But using social media, it can give you the opportunity to do that as well. And just to go more into this notion of, offering free, discounted, or incentivized products for those in need during this crisis is something that, your business or, anyone's business can really utilize potentially in order to first and foremost, give back to the community, providing things, obviously do good and allow other people to do good. But also it can help your business as well simultaneously, kind of a perfect synergy where it gives customers the opportunity to patronize your business where they may not have had the opportunity or desire to, right? Not everybody wants to order 20 pies of pizza, even if they want to give you money, they might not want to spend that much. But if the goal is to give it to doctors or et cetera, they might do that and feel good, or give it to a school, or give it to a homeless shelter, or anyone else in need in your specific community. It's a great opportunity to do this. And again, that discount is on supplies, and it's not the same, and it gives the business the opportunity to get some patronage that is very, very much needed. And then the last bit is, realistically speaking, a lot of businesses are hurting, especially restaurants or anyone with perishable goods. So you might have a lot of excess inventory. And doing something like this where you're matching things is an opportunity to use that, potentially get paid for that, excess inventory, but ultimately just not waste it, right? It gives you the opportunity to make use of it in the best way possible by getting it to people in need. And for all those three reasons, this is a great idea, something great to do potentially, and use marketing technology tools in order to do it. Again, you can do this all manually, but just some suggestions on how to do it in the best way possible. So first off, what we just mentioned, social media and implementation 101, updated NAP data, right? You want to make sure that when somebody calls to make that order, they're calling the right place, they're calling your specific number, and instead of the Uber Eats number, you want to make sure that they get to the place where they're supposed to get to. Using social media tools in order to spread the word and give the instructions, right? As well as the reviews. If somebody's getting food for a whole bunch of people that may never have visited your restaurant before, it could be 20 miles away, and it's just an opportunity for them to do it. Something they could do back is give you a review, and again, using those QR codes, using text back features, making it easier for people to leave reviews is a great opportunity to get those reviews, even in the situation where they're just getting that food for free. I don't know, personally, free food always tastes the best. So just something to think about in that respect. And then one additional thing you might want to think about are offer codes. So, offer codes could be good for things like this, or just in general offers that you're giving to your customers. At the same time, they could just be verbal, right? So you just say, on social media, just say goods for good, and they know that they'll give you 50% off the order, or they'll match your order, or whatever it is. Or they can be a little bit more complicated. They could be more robust. So you can use tools like Mobivity or Punch, or even Gridus to add coupon codes when you're doing it. So just like as an example of how that could work, right? So through Gradus, for instance, let me just show that real quick. So for example, over here, in the review space, once you create that review funnel, you can also create a coupon code within the review. So as people are leaving feedback, they'll also be able to see something here, and that could again be a coupon code incentivizing future purchases, or that could be a message like, hey, if you're, we're having this deal where if you want to donate to EMS workers or underprivileged people or school children that don't have money for lunches normally, please, order in, and we're going to match your order 100%. So that's a great opportunity to do that too, using a pre-existing funnel that you have, or you could use a dedicated tool like Mobivity, for example, where their whole deal is coupon codes and generating them and sharing them and keeping track of them. And it's a great, robust tool. Could be a bit more than what you need. Could be exactly what you need. But just some options to keep aware and understand to what extent you need to be using tools and saving time. Ultimately, it's a question of, do you have more time or do you have more money? And at this moment in time, that's a hard question that a lot of us have to answer. And hopefully, we can provide you some answers for either of those questions. And then lastly, being laser focused in your approach to online advertising. So what does this mean? So online advertising is obviously sometimes expensive, and it's really complicated. A lot of times you don't know what keywords to look for or where to advertise or anything like that. In terms of where to advertise, that's a bit more of a complicated question. That might be beyond our scope here. But something that we can help you out with is understanding what keywords to do. And the best way to understand the keywords you should be purchasing or bidding on or looking for, is understanding your SEO search ranking, right? So if you know how you rank based on specific individual keywords, and more importantly, based on location, that is something that can really, really help you save a lot of money, number one, and number two, be a lot more effective. And the third word is understanding your competitor search ranking is equally important, right? So if you know that a competitor of yours is ranking really well in one keyword, and for that exact keyword you're ranking really poorly, you could spend a lot of money trying to improve your SEO for that specific keyword, or you can spend a little bit less money and buy some advertising for that keyword, so you end up on top of them. So it's just a bit of extra strategy to understand how to leverage your existing SEO rankings and understand them in order to be a lot more diligent in purchasing those marketing spend, because it's still more important. Advertising now is sometimes more important than ever. You need as many customers as possible. You need to find those needles in the haystack, and you don't want to spend a lot to do so. So in terms of understanding your SEO rankings, so local. So search rankings are very hyperlocal, especially Google, where when we think search rankings, yes, there's Yahoo, yes, there's Bing, but really we're thinking about Google. So Google is very hyperlocal, and between different zip codes, let alone cities, you can get completely different search results. So make sure that when you're understanding your search rankings, you're understanding it in a very localized setting. You're searching for your city, your zip code, or wherever you're looking for customers, right? If your business is in California and most of your customers are somehow in New York City, make sure you're looking for the rankings that someone from New York City is going to see rather than someone from California. In terms of result types, so Google has different types of results depending on the keyword. So for one keyword, they'll have a local 3 spot that pops up those 3 suggested businesses based on SEO, based on reviews, a lot of factors. And other keywords, they don't have that, right? So it doesn't matter if you're ranked first. There's just no local 3 spot at all. Sometimes they'll return news articles, sometimes videos, sometimes paid advertising. So it really depends on the keyword, and understanding that is super, super important in order so that you can optimize, right? So if the PPC on a keyword is on 2 keywords is exactly the same, but one of them has a local 3 spot and the other one doesn't, that one's obviously more important. And then simple viewing. Once you understand your keywords, you then need to be able to understand how your PPC campaigns are going and your various advertising campaigns are performing against them, right? So you want to make sure that the keywords that you think are important are doing well. And for that, you could just go to your multiple different campaigns and Facebook and Google and Twitter, etc. Or you can use a single dashboard tool. Again, some solutions that we suggest for this are Authority Labs, Scythe, which are our tools, and I'll show you in a second just because that's what I know the best. SEMrush is an additional tool. Domo is a great tool that you could use. It's just, again, making sure that you can have all the options available to you and choose what's most comfortable. So just to show you a bit about how that would look like, that campaign would look. Just a second here. So how does that look to understand your search rankings? So here in Authority Labs, we have the ability to do dashboard with multiple domains and multiple different types of domains. Here you see an aggregate of all of their listings. And here you'll go into the individual keywords. So I'm actually going to switch accounts here and go into one with a little bit more data. So over here, once you get into here, you'll be able to see the different types of domains based on different locations. And again, you'll notice that depending on the location, the rankings data will be different. Then we came into the same place somehow. Here we go. And in addition to seeing where they're ranking, you'll be able to see the specific type of data that you'll see by the thing. So here you have a list of different airlines, right? You have Delta, uh, different types of dentists, a Nike example, different types of things that you can track and keep tracking on. So we have here our review competitors, right? So you have greatest ranking 52nd overall across the different keywords that we're searching for. And you have different numbers of keywords here. So 89 keywords, 100 keywords, you're looking for a 9, etc. So let's take a look at grade us and see how we're ranking across different keywords. Yeah, so here we go. Over here, you can see the keyword that we have. And again, a keyword when it comes to Google, etc., doesn't necessarily mean a keyword exactly. It could be a phrase, it could be Boolean logic. It's just how people are searching for things in Google. And obviously now, because there's more of a change to the way that Google, people are at home more, people have more time, they can be searching more complicated things. So those long tail, the longer, more specific ones can start to be a bit more important. And you have here a lot of the GMS, the mean search volumes that you have, and you have here the type of results. So different words, again, different keywords have photos, informational ones, different ones have local 3 spots, for example. And this is where you can really understand what keywords you want to optimize for and look for. You can also know the specific landing page that's ranking in a specific location. So you can know, okay, this is the page that's really ranking well, and then you can optimize for it and do things like that. And knowing these keywords, and again, you can compare it with your competitors, understand how they're ranking, and based on these facts and figures, make a decision of how you want to continue and keep going. And like I mentioned, having a dashboard tool is really important as well. And a dashboard tool like Site, for example, allows you to create a single dashboard. You have some sample data here, where now that you know the keywords that you want to be tracking and seeing how they're performing and seeing versus the ones that you already have perhaps, then you can have a single dashboard that tracks, okay, all of your Google AdWords and quality scores in different groups in one specific breakdown. And you could even set up different ones for Facebook ads and Google Analytics and sales and social media and stuff like that. So for example, a social media dashboard, you also have Facebook ads where you can track those and see how they're doing. So it's really robust. Any kind of dashboard tool will give you a robust opportunity to see things and track things in real time potentially. Yeah, so that's again just a really real world way to optimize for the keyword spending that you're doing by understanding your SEO and moving forward from there. So yes, that pretty much brings us to the end of our time here. If you have any questions, let us know right now. Be happy to answer any questions currently. Did you miss the webinar? Nope, you did not. Where is the text back option? So the text back option, Steve Rogers, is available on our tool. If you're currently using GatherUp, it's available there. If you're not, you can reach out.
Actually, there is a workaround on Gradus I can show for the text back.
Excellent, perfect.
Yeah. So actually, let me share my screen if you're not, and I'll walk through. I think there was a couple questions about the text back option. It is a workaround, okay, so everybody. So I just want to make that clear, but it should work. It should work. I've seen it and used it before. So
perfect. So let me get through the questions, and then we can get back to and then you could show how that workaround works for everyone that's interested. How does text back Google Search Console complaints on streaming reviews, even though it is there? Not sure what that specific question was, David. You could reach out to us individually just to see there what's going on. Now, Google has rolled down their reviews functionality in the past couple of weeks due to the corona situation, they are starting to roll it back out. So if you've not been seeing reviews, if you've been having any kind of review issues, very shortly. And let me take it over to you, Anthony, and you can see, you can show how to use text back through the Grade S feature.
Yeah, awesome, thank you. So this is really just an auto reply feature. So for those of you that have used Grade S in the past, or you're currently using our texting feature, this all should look really, really similar to you, familiar. One thing that's often overlooked is the inbox and the configure section. So this inbox, again, it's not our main purpose to send in and reply to text messages. So we haven't really spent a ton of time building out this inbox. But what happens when someone does reply is by default, they will receive an auto reply that largely just says like, hey, this message isn't working, you know, you're gonna have to call another number. You can repurpose this though. So this auto reply can say, you know, thanks for texting Can, let's just use that example. We really appreciate your feedback. If you could take a moment, please click the following link, and you can include the link here, all of that. So again, it is a workaround, but it is technically feasible. Yeah, I'm gonna discard those changes. Awesome. And then were there any other questions, Boris? I think that might be the end. I don't see any either.
I don't see any more questions as well. Again, if anyone has some questions that they kind of come up with after, feel free to reach out to either myself or Anthony. Let me put our emails right back up there.
Yep, I'm stopping the screen so you guys can see them. There you go.
Yeah, and it's just Traject for Anthony and Traject. And we are also practicing what we preach. I should let you know, if you know of any hospitals or public organizations that are in need of a social media tool, we are giving out our Traject Social tool for 3 months at no cost. And public service or public good organization that's trying to get out there and, you know, reach out to the public about any kind of information that they're sending out or anything like that. So any hospital, any local government organization, anyone that's trying to help the public in the current corona situation, please reach out to us and request that 3 months free of the Traject Social to kind of help get through this time and be able to save a lot of time on, you know, sending out social media messaging. Yeah, so that's it for us. Any other questions, reach out. And thank you so much for joining us here today.